Hello, this is Sarah Braasch. I am the PhD candidate in philosophy at Yale who was falsely accused of racism and whose life was destroyed by the Yale administration, the press, and a global internet rage mob. Thank you for returning to my channel to watch another one of my videos. As I usually mention, I just want to let you know that I am holding my iPhone in my hand, and I'll try to hold it as still as possible. I am considering purchasing some better equipment. Also, I will be reading from a script, and that's why I'll be glancing off camera. And additionally, please forgive me if I come across as a bit stilted. I'm hoping to become more relaxed and comfortable as I make more of these videos. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So today I want to give you a brief but comprehensive big picture account of what happened at Yale this past spring during the living or napping while black incident. Even so, I'm probably going to break it up into a few different videos because people seem to find shorter videos more digestible. I just want to let you know that the narrative which was propagated around the world that I was trolling the halls of my Yale dorm at 2 a.m. for random sleeping black people to harass by calling 911, either out of terror of blackness or because I abhor black people, is a straight up, bald-faced lie. Nothing could be further from the truth. The true overarching narrative is that a severely traumatized middle-aged woman with mental health disabilities who chose to live in probably the most remote, isolated dorm room in the Hall of Graduate Studies, at the top of a tower no less, was being terrorized in her own home for months, with the full knowledge of the Yale administration and the Yale campus police, who did absolutely nothing to help her or to make the attacks stop. I want to begin by setting the stage. My accusers were very happy to mislead the press and the public into thinking that I was trolling the huge main common room on the ground floor of my Yale dorm at 2 a.m. for random sleeping black people. First of all, that room would have been locked and inaccessible at that time. I lived like a hermit in my dorm room at the top of a tower, as far away from anyone else as I could get, and this was by arrangement with the Yale housing managers. I rarely left my room. I am recovering from egregious, lifelong, and repeated trauma, including the deaths of my 3 brothers, 2 of whom committed suicide. I also suffer from mental health disabilities, including post-traumatic stress disorder. I wished only to be left in peace to work on my dissertation, which I consider to be my Saving the World project. The notion that I would leave my room at 2 a.m. to troll the halls of my Yale dorm for sleeping black people to harass is so ludicrous and asinine that it isn't even worth considering. I was the one being targeted in my own remote, isolated home. I was being harassed. I was being stalked. I was being attacked. I was being sought out in my own remote, isolated dorm room. I sought out no one. I harassed no one. I stalked no one. I trolled no one. All I wanted was to be left in peace, to complete my work, and to recover as best I could from the severe trauma I had endured. Moreover, I was recovering from a traumatic event that had occurred during my first year of the PhD program at Yale in the spring of 2015. I had been socially ousted from my department by most of my grad student peers because I refused to allow them to violate the federal civil rights of a black man, the only person of color job candidate for a tenure-track assistant professor position in the philosophy department. The graduate students wouldn't look at me except to glare at me. They wouldn't speak to me. If I entered a room, they would get up and leave it. As a result, my time in the philosophy department at Yale has been incredibly difficult and painful. I turned to the mental health clinic at the Student Health Center for help. I was on psychotropic medication for quite a while. I was made aware that the graduate students also went to the administration to try to get me expelled. I believe that the only reason why I wasn't expelled is because the faculty stood up for me en masse. but I believe that the administration has been salivating for another bite at the apple since that time. After everything that I endured, would I make the same choice to stand up for someone's federal civil rights and freedom of religious expression? In a heartbeat. I know I did the right thing. I wouldn't have been able to live with myself otherwise. I can only live a life of integrity. This is what it means to be a civil libertarian. Thank you so much for spending a few moments with me.